I accidentally hit the wrong button. Anyway. Hello, and welcome to the weekly KingdomCast from the Kingdom Games studio.
Kingdom!
It's not a castle. It's a studio in an office building. Please.
It's got
stop.
cool pictures, though.
Yeah, that's true. I am your humble community servant, Chris, and I'm here with a man that some of you, most of you probably already know, Steven.
I'm Steven Donnelly, art director for Kingdom Games, and many of you know me as Caravaggio's Wolf. And it's great to be back. Thank you for all of you that are joining us live. Please send your questions now. Chris has got the chat up so we can talk back and forth, and that would be really cool. So, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff, but I think the most important thing to talk about first is what's been going on this week. What have you been up to? I think you've been out most of this week,
I've
actually.
been out this week. So if you've noticed, I've got my Barry White voice going. And
yeah, I like it.
Thank you.
It's very good. Very soothing.
It's very Barry White.
Yes.
I'm getting over bronchitis. I got hit, a couple weeks ago. Thought I had beat it, and then it just wiped me out starting last Friday. Not a good thing. So no. I'm actually back in the office after 3 days at home in bed. I'm pretty bored with Netflix.
Yeah.
And Hulu. And if you care about that stuff, I definitely say Netflix over Hulu. Hulu is not worth it unless you pay not to have commercials.
Yeah.
Hey, can we talk about this stuff?
Yeah, sort of. Kind of.
All right.
I'll push it forward.
All right.
Anyway, as always, you can find us on social media, Kingdom Games ATX. Steven is our humble art director here. We're glad to have him here. I'm really impressed with all the work I've seen that you've pushed through. So the first question I would be is, where did the inspirations for Art in 5 go? And I know you didn't start when the project started, so maybe that's a tough question, but what are the kind of inspirations and where's art been going since you've taken the helm?
So I've been with the studio since the beginning of March, so about 10 months now. And when you look at the characters, when you look at the game as a whole, it has a very gamer appeal to it. And that's intentional. There's a few things I want to touch on to start, and probably the biggest, most important one is that even though the story of David, and it starts with David versus Goliath and his rise to power, that is historically based, the art is not. We took a huge amount of creative license with the art for the simple reason that costumes around 1000 BC just weren't really exciting.
A lot of brown leather. And
right. The fact that you actually had a blanket or a cloth to wear was probably a pretty big deal. So it became very apparent early on that just adhering to historical accuracy for the art was going to make for a historically accurate art, but thus makes a very boring, visually non-entertaining game.
And does that translate further when it's an isometric viewpoint to you now have to make things that are also exciting when you're zoomed way out?
You are correct.
So are there any sacrifices on that front where you're like, well, you could go hyper detail, you wouldn't go hyper detailed in everything, or would you?
We actually went much more detailed than we had originally planned. So, as I said, we initially started with a historical based look, but quickly found out that was not going to fly. It just is too pedestrian and too boring and just wouldn't be competitive visually with today's gaming market. So we took the world, the land of Canaan, some 3,000 years ago, and we pumped it up on steroids. There are definitely historic influences in the costumes and the environments and the locations, but then we just ran from there. And
very cool.
The driving force was really what looks good. So as I was saying, with the start of the game, because we're targeting a 11 and 12-year-old and older crowd, we wanted it to be more stylized. And early in the process, when I had joined the studio and I was freelancing for them, the thinking was that Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons,
Right.
game from Starbreeze, fantastic game, and just beautiful. Had a subtle enough stylization, and that's where we would go with the project. Once I joined the studio full-time as art director and spent some time assessing the assets that we had, how much we needed to get done, and the amount of time that we had, that became a unrealistic goal. And so do a little research, give some thought to it, have some conversations, and we shifted gears to a much more realistic looking style to the game. And the driving force behind that was really because there are so many assets that you can purchase from the Unity store, from the Unreal store, that are realistic in style. And so we ended up purchasing a very large amount of our assets and then focused a good chunk of the team on environment building.
Okay.
Actually, from scratch in April, we started building 42 unique maps.
Over 11 acts, and that's
11 acts.
That's an insane amount of content.
And we have 4 level artists, myself included.
Do you want to show off some of your favorite levels?
Yeah, we could take a look. You want to do that now?
Yeah,
Can we bring that up?
Yeah, I would love to.
All right. Chris runs a really tight ship here, and it looks nice. Good presentation.
Yeah, this is the first week with the couch, and I'm sticking with this. Even though I had to move the couch, I'm thinking I can employ Chelsea and Danielle and Nathan, make them do all the work, and then I'll just take the credit.
You could direct them.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. Just so everyone is aware, we do have the sound muted, so no spoilers or anything. So where do you want to go, Steven? Do you want to launch us around? Start right at the beginning? Where are we going?
Well, just so people who do play the game know, if you hit Z, that turns off the UI and the HUD.
Zoom in, zoom out.
We can zoom in. Oh, you gonna let me drive?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, man. I
I
don't
know
know
you're
if I could
lefty.
drive
I know
and
you're
talk at the same time.
Yeah, tell me what you need me to do.
So there's a couple things here. We are overlooking the valley of Elam or Elah. You're like, well, what's the valley of Elah? Well, it's a valley in current-day Israel, and it is the one in which the Philistine armies camped, excuse me, to face off against King Saul's army, and that's where the David versus Goliath story took place. So with the beginning of the game, I wanted to go with something that was rich and vibrant, beautiful, but it's late autumn. We've got a lot of leaves falling. It's misty morning. You see purple mist down there in the valley, and you can see like the enemy campfires. And then as you come down here, you've got this ravine that just helps visually connect you to what's happening off in the distance and then what's happening up close.
Did you hand paint all of this? How much of it was you hands-on? How much of it did you direct to the team? Or do you just have a vision and then you throw it to the team?
So this was we did this as a test level, and I directed this using our most talented level designer, Travis. I would pronounce his last name, but
very complicated last name.
Yes. Kowalski? Do I have that right?
I think I'm not
Sorry,
comfortable
Travis.
for that one. Yeah.
I know. You're an amazing artist. So, excuse me. Travis went through and relayed this out, and I did a lighting pass, and we went back and forth a bit. But we got something that we pitched to the directors as, hey, here's where we can go with visual direction that is attainable in the next 6 months. And they bought off on it. So this was the first map. We've probably spent more time in this map than we ever should have, but that is the nature of things.
Well, it's the first level. You always want to show off your visual goodies on the first level so everyone sticks with you, right?
Yes.
You always want to start well.
Yes. All right, so where do we want to go from here? Actually, let's take a look at a cave. Did that work?
I don't think you clicked it. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it did. All right.
So we are in a cave now, Stephen.
Yes, we are in a cave. And what do I like about this environment? So with this, we can get a little more fantastical. I'm going to have to fight these guys. I don't know how to make myself invulnerable. I don't think we have the cheats in the game. So making it a little more fantastical. It's a living cave. We've got like this moving water in there, lots of lush light, and an opportunity to create parallax. So places where like this pillar is between you and the characters in the background. It can be a little disorienting because a lot of times you always want to keep an eye on your guy and you know what's happening in this type of fixed camera game, but I'm kind of throwing that to the wind because I want a little more drama, a little more depth in these environments.
And I really love what you did with the color palettes here, like those greens and the blue lighting. I think is that blue lighting, or is that?
Yes. Yeah, it's blue lighting, and
really,
I think I'm going to die here, so yeah. I'm just going to run around, and then you can see like there's some living aspects to the cave, some openings in the cave above, light shines through, that sort of thing. The area of Canaan is actually rich in limestone, and I know I say that running around a granite cave rock, but there are all sorts of caves in the area. And included some ruin sets just to give it a sense of again, that fantasticalness. Like maybe this is an ancient culture that once lived in this cave. Man, I cannot go anywhere without getting in a fight. All right. I want to take a look at another map, and that's 2, 4, 5. Let's go 4-2. So one of the driving forces with the environments and the characters is to just really make everything strikingly different, so that as you play through each mission and you can switch up the characters.
Did we freeze it?
I think we froze it.
That's okay.
Give me a little reboot there.
Yeah, well, that's one thing that I've definitely noticed when I've been playing through it is, I mean, and I think you're showcasing it here really well too, is that you kind of start at dusk, but then we have night. Well, we have caves, which are very dark, blue lighting. Right. Now we have noon,
Yes.
Noon in the sand.
And the hot desert and the blowing sand. We have lots of blowing sand. That's that variety, I think, because we have roughly 20 hours of gameplay through 11 acts, 42 maps, as I said. Getting variety in there is important. Otherwise, it tends to get a little boring.
I do have a question from X-Scorpion2. Steven, did you get a chance to switch to deferred rendering, or are you still using forward rendering?
X-Scorpion2. I don't know who you are, but you must be tied. Yes, we did switch to deferred rendering. And actually, we got rid of all light maps. Turns out that the benefits visually from using the light maps just wasn't enough to justify their existence. So we switched everything to deferred rendering from forward rendering, wiped out all light maps.
Nice.
So that's one of the things that helps the game look so contemporary.
Yeah, I kind of, in terms of visuals, I almost want to compare it to games like, I don't know if you ever played Renegade Ops, in terms of just like open environments and tons of like lush greenery and different environment types.
I haven't.
You should look it up, because I think,
I'm going to take a little side note right here. So we have a rock star comic artist doing all of our cutscenes, and that is Sergio, and it's not Corleone, it's Sergio from Action Bible fame, and I can never remember his last name, but he's
Cariello.
Cariello, thank
Cariello.
you. You looked that up.
No, I didn't. I remember that one.
Okay.
I'm learning.
But Sergio is very talented, and so with the story that was written by our comic writer, Bo Bell, who's very talented, we have... Actually, I think Bo was on last week.
Bo was on last week. Yeah, Bo
yes.
talked story last week with me.
Bo wrote this story, and he worked very closely with Sergio, getting him to do these comic panels. So if you're a fan, or if you just enjoy comic storytelling, we have this in the game. I think this is one of the exciting aspects of it, that we can tell the story through different mediums.
Is that difficult to go from visual storytelling in a 3D engine to telling it through comic cutscenes and then making that all mesh together?
It is a challenge. Ideally we would just do, high-end animations for all the cutscenes, but that takes time. Excuse me. Time and money. And so we opted to not go that route and actually commission Sergio.
Yeah, and I really like what I've seen so far. And it also, there's very few games I can think of that do the comic panel. I know Max Payne has done it. I believe there's a game called 13 that did a similar stylization, but it's an uncommonly used device, and it does add a pretty unique look to it.
I need a special attack. Help me out here.
Oh, you gotta level up?
Yeah. Okay.
We're using cheats, so don't think it's that easy. We're cheating.
Yeah, I mean we're a good way into the game there.
Where is this in the world? Because I know every place is based off of real places. So where are we in the world? Where are you taking me?
Well, we're moving out of Judea, going to Philistia. So if you're familiar with your world geography, the game takes place in what is currently Israel and Palestine and Jordan to a certain part also. Actually in a little bit of Syria. And we are now in the lower part of Israel, almost heading towards the Egyptian border.
Okay.
So
we're still pretty on that coastline, really.
Right. And we actually opted to make this a very desert-like environment, simply to give the player more variation of environment. As we get into Philistia, because it's on the coast, it tends to be a little greener and lusher. But as the maps were built and the way the story was told, it was just an opportunity that we took to put in some variation. What else do we have in here? We have everything in here. We're almost done.
Now, how long does it take to make one map? So there's 42. How long did it take you to do one? And all the way from prototype to polish to finish?
Ooh, how long? I'm going to say at least 4 man weeks, maybe 8 man weeks. And when I say man weeks, I mean human weeks. It's just a term, ladies. And speaking of ladies, so one of the things that we've done in the game, I should probably show that map. I'm going to hold off on that a bit. Oh, no, I'm not. I froze it up again.
You just break the games.
I did.
Tell me, if I can pinch you for a bit, tell me about the Amalekites.
So the Amalekites are, and a lot of the cultures that we fight, there is not much in the historical record beyond what you find in the Bible.
Which is pretty brief sometimes.
Oh, yes.
Not necessarily as descriptive as we wish it would be.
No. The Amalekites were actually camel riders and very good at it. There was a part in the game where we were looking at where the 5 were taking on 300 mounted cavalry of Amalekites. So as you know, with games, getting just the character to run around is a challenge. Getting animals to run around is a challenge. But then getting characters riding animals and engaging in combat. So
lots of fun for you.
Right, we've postponed that. And actually, that kind of thing is something we're going to be looking at in the new art show. Is we want to do mounted enemy types, so we're going to be concepting that together.
So why don't we talk about that? Because everyone's going crazy. Your fans are very, very excited to see you back. The wolf is back. And boys are back in town. Whatever cliche we want to go with. What are we planning here, Stephen? What are you open to? Do I fit into it?
Of course you do.
Oh, of course.
So Chris is our... What do you do here? You like the community
I'm the community
guy?
servant.
Community servant.
That's what I call
right.
myself, yeah.
He is the point of contact.
Yes.
But so what Chris and I will be doing is he will be hosting and I will be participating, and we're going to do a monthly art show along the lines of Pen of the Avatar.
It's going to be awesome, and it's live from your home studio, I believe.
Yes, it's going to be live from my home studio because, as you know, or if you don't know, I use this huge Cintiq, and I don't have a Cintiq here, and I pretty much... Excuse me.
I'm getting a cough button, I swear, one day.
Can't draw on a Wacom tablet anymore, so we need that Cintiq.
Which is glorious, because I have never heard of these brand names. I've heard of Wacom's. I've heard and seen those before. I've never seen the Cintiq, but I've been told it's pretty impressive, like the size of a coffee table almost. Or is it not that large?
Nah, it is big. Does that say 6'1"?
Yeah, that's 6'1".
That's
6'1".
Right. Now I don't feel so bad. Hey, load screen's working properly.
Yes.
We're getting all these polishes in. Okay, so as I was saying previously, and I touched on a bit. No, actually, I haven't done that here.
You've not talked about Ariella.
Right. One of the challenges that we ran into with a 3,000-year-old story is it tends to be pretty misogynistic. So we took creative license, again, along with the art, and we wrote in Ariella. And she is the brother of one of the 5.
You sister.
Sister.
Yeah.
Did I say brother?
You did.
Ah, you knew what I meant, though.
Oh.
All right. So.
That's so we're clear.
Okay, she's a sister. I just want to point out, like, this floating terrain that you're seeing, I've got 2 terrains in here, so it's breaking the terrain. But Ariella works with the 5, and she helps them find safe passage. So here they are, they're heading into the Valley of Salt, which is down below, and she's going to clear a path for them so they can bring in the army. Uh-oh. Okay, got him. And again, a different type of environment, nighttime, stealth type mission. I know with the 5 you can, hopefully I don't break it, switch between characters. And that's one of the really cool things about the game is, like, if you just want to play one character, power him up, make him really cool, you can, or you could play 2, or you could play all 5. And also, if you have Ariella that you play for about 25% of the game.
Yeah, that's one thing that I love, because I'm a huge KOTOR fan, Knights of the Old Republic, and you have a 9-person full party at the end of the game. But you can only have 3 people with you at once. It's like, I want to see my whole crew, and that's one thing that really I love about 5. It's like, okay, I'm going to be an archer for a little bit. Okay, let's be a spearman. You know, I'm bored with that. Let's go full-on tank. Let's go Elazar. Let's smash people with swords. I love that versatility of it.
So this is in the lands of Moab, which is current-day Jordan. and this is where Petra can be found. Now, this story takes place some, 600 to 400 years prior to the Nabateans. But as I said, with this artistic license, oh my gosh, I gotta power up.
It's page up.
Page up. We're just gonna get hammered. It's not gonna be good.
And normally when you progress through the game, it has a pretty standard, if you've played Diablo 3, a pretty similar loot system, pretty similar...
Titan Quest.
Yeah, Titan Quest. So to skip, I don't know, we're at the tail end of the game. We're in Act 9 or so right now?
7.
We're in Act 7.
Right.
You've missed a lot of gearing and character progression. So we're trying to showcase all the cool stuff Steven's been doing, because we know that's what you're excited about.
Yes. So again, different environments, looking at what the reality is, in this case Jordan and Petra, and just really pumping up the fantastical about that. I'm going to see if I can show you some of the things we did. Oh, we got the repellers in there. So a lot of these ancient cultures worship the bull-headed god Moloch. So you can see I've put in these big statues of Moloch in the area, and then once we get over into this area, we actually have these Petra influenced type spaces. I should probably get out of here before I get killed.
Yeah, they look pretty serious. Can you tell me a bit about the weapon designs?
Yes.
Because I see these guys have big, like, is they called scimitars? Or
Scimitars.
Scimitars.
So one of the things that happened early on is in the development of the game, when I was speaking to how the game was much more stylized, a lot of the weaponry and some of the costumes for the enemies tend to be a little more stylized than the environments. And we've been working to bring them more in realistic fashion, but at a certain point, there's nothing that feels better than chopping into enemies with a big, really crazy-looking
like a cloud sword. Yeah.
Yes, so it's kind of like, we'll find a sweet spot and we'll make sure everyone's happy. Like, this guy's got the ram horn spear, and that thing's pretty cool. I can't believe I'm beating these guys. So that gives you a look at this environment, and actually let's take a look at one more. So they take the whole team
I like
down.
that.
I know.
I haven't seen that VFX yet. And we're in another environment that looks completely different. This is more of a dusk, and you got the yellow light and the greens, right?
Right, and because this is towards the end of the game, I wanted more of a autumn, end of days kind of feel. And I think, so for me, it's like you want to make it feel oppressive, dark, and end of days, but you still want it to be pretty. I think that's a hard, fine line that some games don't walk, is creating dark environments. It's like, I don't want to spend time in here. But I thought that was something that was important, is like, yes, we do want to spend time in this game. And we spend a lot of it, as I said, 20 hours. So this is the Ammonite lands, and the Ammonites are like part of Jordan and the lower part of Syria in modern day, but they don't have any type of rock strata like this, or that much green. But again, it was more, I wanted to get that kind of autumn, almost Halloween feel to it, because we're getting near the end of the game.
Well, it's beautiful, and the detail that goes into it. Like, are these leaves, are those a particle? Are those models? What are those painted?
They're actually painted with a brush tool.
Wow.
They're a terrain texture. So you can see that they vary excuse me, color and size.
That's really impressive.
And then we've got some really sweet terrain in here, which is looking good.
And who are these guys chasing you? Are these the
These are the Ammonites.
The Ammonites.
Yes.
Oh my. And are they culturally? They look a little more barbarian-esque. Is that?
They're actually very much like the Israelites, but they all have dark colors, and they have some pretty dark, evil practices. So again, since the game pretty much wraps up with the city of Rabbah and fighting the Ammonites and defeating them, I push for the Ammonites to be like dressed in black and dark blue teal. They also have a majority of wealth in the area. Certainly the Edomites do down in the city of Aqaba.
Which is the coastal city, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which exists today. And between concept and... I better get out of here.
You have quite a train of
I know,
friends.
this is just going to end badly. At a certain point, you have to fight or die.
I wanted to... this is a harsh segue, but I wanted to talk about your previous experiences and what inspired you to be an artist versus anything else. Why are you an artist, and where did that lead into your other things at Microsoft, Airtight, other awesome studios?
So I'm an artist because I want to still tell stories through pictures. I love creating, very imaginative, all sorts of crazy ideas, and sharing those stories with other people is something I really enjoy. Mm-hmm. So as a kid, my group of friends, oldest group of friends, was built around playing Dungeons and Dragons. Well, probably not the oldest, but certainly a group. And I was fascinated by the social relationships that were developing. Very different people thrown together in this fun situation, and yet they were connecting.
Yeah.
And so it became a lot of fun, and I wanted to do something like that. So in '95, I went to work for TSR, and actually very quickly became an art director there, just because of my management experience that I had previously. And working there, it was, I want to be an artist. I want to make the art. I just don't want to manage the teams making the art. So in '97, I went freelance and just started from the ground up. Probably 10 years later than most of my peers, but it was a passion that just won't die in me. And wanted to do book and magazine covers, started working in the game industry in 2000, and suddenly it was, this is it. I'm an extrovert, so sitting at home by myself, working by myself, doesn't go so well.
Yeah, I can see that.
Working with a group of people goes really well. And I love the idea of a group of people coming together to create a story and share it with players and have them really enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So that's what drives me. That's how I got here.
And you worked at Airtight, who made some games that I was a huge fan of, and you worked with Microsoft. And
I did.
Did you work on Tomb Raider, or you just love Tomb Raider?
I
can
just
never figure that one out.
Tomb Raider. So at certain points of my career, when I went looking for work, a fellow I used to work for in '06, Ron Rosenberg, went out to Crystal Dynamics, and he is the executive producer, or he was. I don't know what you've been doing lately, Ron. I am really excited about Rise of the Tomb Raider, and I've never written to you to tell you how much I love Tomb Raider Reboot. I played through it 3 times, and every time I want to show someone great storytelling mechanics, how do you get your character to do the things that you want them to do, I point to Tomb Raider. That reboot and the writing from Rihanna Pratchett it's unparalleled.
I was a huge fan too.
So, it's always been a, offer occasionally when I'm reaching out, seeing how he's doing, saying, hey, why don't you come out to California? And I just didn't want to go to California. Like Seattle, like Austin. Actually, Seattle and Austin are the same city. It just depends on how much sunlight you like. That's really it. They're both liberal. They're both big college towns. Seattle's more expensive, but it's cleaner and prettier, and you got all the high tech. Austin is getting there. Austin has the festival music scene.
And local artists too. I think. I think it's more indie. I think indie resonates more in Austin than Seattle, but I haven't been there yet, so I don't know.
I like them both.
At this point, guys,
do we have any questions from the community?
I was actually about to say it is open Q&A. I would love to hear what you guys have.
Well, I see a list, and I see something that says Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, that's Amber Rain.
Amber Rain.
MTG.
What do you want to know about Magic the Gathering? I don't like to tell people I work on Magic the Gathering because you get people wanting their cards signed, and then you get people that want to make a living off you, and they'll send you decks of cards to sign, and then they'll put them up on eBay.
I think that's pretty common in all industries at this point, though. Like the signature being sold. There's a joke in Futurama where he actually says, "Make it out to eBay."
Yes.
Big little E, big B. Yeah, exactly. If you guys don't have any questions, let's get into some formalities. Steven here is the art director here at Kingdom Games. On all your favorite social media, we are Kingdom Games ATX. That's Kingdom Games Austin, Texas. Kingdom Games ATX. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Steven will be returning to do art streams live from his home studio. We hope to get that started next month, but we are also in crunch mode here to get the game launched November 24th. So it might not be until December, but I will keep everyone informed. And if you ever are not happy with how I'm keeping you informed, marketing at kingdomgames.com, go straight to me and you can tell me to give you all the inside info. We will have a public Twitch schedule. It is a sticky post on our Steam community forums. If you don't use Steam or know what Steam is, just go to kingdomgames.com/Steam. That'll link you right there. You can click on the discussion forums and you will see a sticky post that says Twitch schedule. And Steven's stuff will be up there. I will make sure everyone knows. It will be tagged as such so you know you can see the lovely return of Steven.
So are we going to stay on Twitch, or are we going to put this up on YouTube at some point?
We are doing a week delay for everything. So it will be recorded live on Twitch. A week later, it will be put to YouTube. Since I know your fans are all YouTubers, we could set up a dual stream. So we will have it go to YouTube and Twitch at the same time is another option.
Everybody, what do you think about that? Should we be doing dual stream? Are you okay with a week delay? Right. I think getting a Twitch membership is pretty easy.
Twitch is free. It's easy to do. The ads are no more invasive than YouTube. If you want to use an ad blocker, those work. That's an option. Where's the news?
We want to see Amalekites.
That's from a few minutes ago. Newsletter. Oh, we didn't.
Amalekites are pretty awesome. So in designing them, as I said, they rode camels, and they were camel riders. If you go to,
I think this has crashed. I'm not sure.
That's all right.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So we kind of took them in a bit of a road warrior, post-apocalyptic feel. So certainly the Amalekites are the most barbarian-looking, rough, scary, intimidating guys. Mm-hmm. They're the guys that wear horns on their helmets and stuff. So
the savage Amalekites, I believe, is how
savage.
we first described them, and I think you changed the wording, but they're scary. I've seen them. They're kind of...
Yeah, they look cool.
Yeah,
well,
they're scary.
It's hard to be scared of anything when you're playing in that lock perspective.
That's true.
Unless you just get overwhelmed.
Uh-oh. Oh. There we go.
Here are the Amalekites.
There you go.
Thank you, Mike.
You got it.
That's them. They are a fierce bunch.
ESRB, Desron, we have a teen rating from the ESRB for mild blood and violence. In terms of the rating systems, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a form since we're doing digital. Box releases are a little more involved. We're talking about a time in history where people were at war constantly. It was
constantly.
So there's
we shouldn't say that, because they're still at war.
Yeah.
This is a part of the world that has been at war since the beginning of recorded history.
Yes.
And we go back to about 1000 BC-ish.
Yep.
I guess, or BCE, depending on what you prefer. But we did want to make the game for kids. So
accessible. Well, accessible. It's not necessarily.
Thank you.
It's got the systems that.
I just scared away all the adults.
Yeah. If you've played an
Sorry.
action RPG, an isometric action RPG, you might call it Diablo-style RPG, you might call it an ARPG, you know the system we're working with. We like that genre, and I have not talked to you about Intel, but this is a good place to bring up Intel that you did last week, that we like that genre, but we wanted to say, what can we take with these familiar systems, and how do we modify them? And you've talked... I think several things today have been brought up about that, but what I actually put a clip of you from the Intel up on YouTube.
Oh, Lord.
You look very flattering in it. I got you. It's cut on an awesome part, but
okay. Is that when I yelled at Eric?
No, not quite. I
that
cut
was
that
funny.
out. Yeah, it's in private. There's the whole video is up on private, but.
Okay.
You seem to really enjoy Intel, and I thought it was cool too. I thought I was stuck in traffic, so I didn't get to see all the showcases. But you were there the whole day. What was kind of the response to 5? What did you see there that you liked? How was?
So I think a lot of people were really excited about 5. The Intel folks even made the comment. Excuse me.
And by the way, we're talking about the Intel Buzz Workshop that was, it's an indie game showcase and conference, one-day conference that was here in Austin. I think they did Paris and a few other places. So.
Right. So the response was really positive. A lot of people liked it. We got approached, and everyone was excited about what we were doing. And gamers really liked it too. A lot of people wanted to come over and sit down and play. Because of the nature of indie development, people think of indie development, and it's like 3 or 5 people working out of the garage, that kind of thing. We're a team of almost 30.
Yeah, and just like Double Fine or a lot of stuff. I mean, Devolver publishes a lot of stuff too, where it's, it is a larger team, but we're not being published by anyone.
No, we are independent.
Yeah, we don't have the backing of EA or Activision or Blizzard. We're on our own devices, so we have a lot of freedoms and a lot of challenges too. But it's I would call us indie. We're just that's kind of the term triple I comes to mind. That's
triple I.
That's becoming a new thing. Is there's larger budget indie titles are called triple I titles. So like a Double Fine.
I was trying to recoin the phrase just an A title. We're
an A title.
Triple A, 35 million to 350 million. We're just a small independent title trying to deliver a quality experience to players. So, what kind of questions we got?
They want to talk about Blood. Did you design the Blood? He, Desron, he doesn't think Blood adds to a quality game, doesn't do anything for him. That said, Blood Splatter in the Lord of the Rings game with the Black Orc blood was adding. So I contradict myself and was saying that for the sake of gore, I think his point is gratuitous gore, gore just for the sake of gore, a la Mortal Kombat is not his thing. Oh,
well, I'm with you. So you bring up an interesting point. So with Blood, at the beginning of the game, shepherd boys are fighting some wolves, and you've got some dead sheep, and there's a small pool of blood around each dead sheep just to symbol or communicate, hey, the sheep is dead, and not just falling over.
Not sleeping.
But when you hit someone, one of the things that Blood does, especially in shooters where it's overly gratuitous with like the splurt or something, what it's doing is communicating to the player that you have successfully tagged your target. Mm-hmm. And so with a game like this, we need to be able to give the feedback to the player, showing them that yes, you're hitting this enemy, you're wearing them down, but we don't want blood splurting all over the place. Mm-hmm. So what we came up with was kind of the idea that pieces of leather and metal or cloth would like break off. So when you hit it, you get kind of this graphic impact blowing off the character so that you know, hey, I'm doing damage to this guy. And I could see it happening, but it's not blood.
Yeah, the ESRB is very strict. So mild blood would be defined as like crime scene remnants. A la just having that one sheep with a pool of blood by it is enough to that we have to declare blood to get our rating.
Yes.
So
what else we got there? I love this list. Go back through it. We probably missed a whole bunch.
Let's go through it. Just adult version of the stories of, I guess they're talking about the Bible stories having adult. Joe Violation says hi. Do you know Joe Violation?
I do. Hey, Joe Violation.
There you go.
And hi to everybody. Thanks for joining us here today. I have missed you all, and I look forward to getting this back into full swing again.
Desron's 4-year-old is excited.
Awesome.
Yes. The big sister wants to play it.
Yes, because 25% of the game you're playing Ariella.
That's very true. Now, Ariella, this is something I did want to ask you. Mm-hmm. So, what are the challenges designing a cohesive game when you have stealth, you have sort of tower defense-y, kind of planning your thing,
right.
You have ARPG, hack and slash. How do you combine all of those into a cohesive, singular art piece? Like, how do you take art design for stealth? Like, there's got to be just design choices there. And how do you combine those with your more core action role-playing gameplay?
On the art side, it's a little easier than it is on the design side.
Yes, definitely.
There is definitely a ebb and flow to the storytelling and experience that you want to have to help communicate all these different things that you're doing. On the art side, it's really about setting the mood that design has laid out for us. So in the case of Ariella, she is the one who she is first introduced when she helps David excuse me
cough button, I'll get it one day.
David and Benaiah and Abishai escape from Saul City, the city of Ziklag. Actually, the land of Canaan and all these names are really, really cool.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is working on this project and learning the story of David and a lot of the things that went on early in the Old Testament, you see the parallels between that and modern fairy tales and things like Lord of the Rings. It's without a doubt. It's like, oh, they looked there for inspiration when they got started.
Yeah, there's definitely an epic feel when you start getting away from the familiar. When you start saying Eleazar, Jashobim, Abishai, it adds to the element of the fantasy, and I do think it helps you engage with the characters more because we are going to an ancient land. We're going to a world that exists now, but the players don't exist. We can go to the setting, but all the players, all the pieces, they're not there anymore. They've been gone for thousands of years. I think this helps us dive into history to say, here's how it is, a la Back to the Future. You know, when you go forward, you have to play the role and kind of get into, well, what will the future be like? Well, they're going to change names. I think that's a real basic way to do it.
I like that.
Monster F. Monkster F. Very happy to see you. Amber is digging the show. Thank you, Amber.
Awesome. Yes, it's
Thank you.
Chris put this together. He's the one who set it up, got it on Twitch, told me what kind of art he wanted for the frame and everything and the video, and this is all his doing. It's pretty cool. So I'm
like
excited.
it. You did a good job on this.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
That's manual. I just put it all together.
You have a radio show, Amber.
Yes.
Awesome. That is so cool.
Yes, on Avatar Radio.
Really?
And actually, Avatar radio plays in the game.
That's awesome.
I know, it's cool.
Okay, guys. I think we are running out of time here. Steven has to get back to work, unfortunately.
Yeah. A lot to do. We ship November 24th. We're on Steam and our website. We're going to retail for $24.99. And it's a great bargain. 20 hours of gameplay, 42 maps.
And don't forget the promotion. If you buy it in the launch window, which we haven't told you when it's going to end yet, but it will end, you get the beautiful art book that Steven has got the hookup, and it looks great.
Yeah.
There's some amazing artwork by Manuel and so many other artists on the team.
Yes, and actually, for those of you that are really interested in the art, you'll see that our character art is just phenomenal. And certainly some pieces you can recognize the influence from ancient cultures. And these are all created by Manuel Gomez, our concept artist. Truly talented. We are fortunate to have him.
Yes. The art book and the soundtrack will be available for the same price as the base game. So you can get the digital deluxe edition, same price, and you get these beautiful art pieces that you can talk about and brag about.
Yes.
All of our social media, again, is Kingdom Games ATX. And Steven will be returning, so make sure to pay attention to the forums and social media and Steven's pages. I know. What are your... Do you have...
I just use Facebook.
Just Facebook?
Yeah.
So look up Steven Daniele.
Yeah.
Danelli? Danelli or Daniele?
Steven Danelli.
Steven
Artist.
Danelli. Artist. Look him up. Follow him. He will also let you know when things are going on. And I do my best to keep all the official Kingdom Games stuff up and up.
Yes.
So,
the last thing is we need a name for the show.
That's true.
And I'm thinking The Wolf and the Lion. You're thinking, where did that come from? Well, there's some movie called The Wind and the Lion with Sean Connery.
Yes.
It was pretty cool.
I haven't seen it.
I think he's playing like a guy in North Africa, Arab guy or something.
Sean Connery?
Yeah.
Really?
Really.
Okay, I gotta see this now.
I could be wrong.
Would that make me the lion?
Could be,
Oh,
yes.
my.
Well, because we have a lion as a symbol for the studio,
Yeah.
I just thought that would
makes sense.
work. Anyway, does anyone have thoughts on that? Please share. And
in other words, I will see you all next week. I will be streaming with our Director of Development, Mike, and one of our game designers, Joe, and we're going to be talking about the final month, pushing the game and making sure everything's ready for launch, bug-free, and awesome.
Don't do that. They should be making the game and keeping it bug-free.
This is what I do. So have a great day, everyone, and we hope that you will tune in again, and Steven and I will be in touch.
Yes, thanks for being with us. It's great to see you all again.
Have a good one.
Enjoy your week. We'll see you in a couple weeks.